What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Hoops Media Podcast. I'm your host, Eric, and welcome to our first ever Hoops Media Podcast, Volume 1. We did an intro podcast a couple weeks ago, but this will be our first official podcast, and we'll dig deep into some different things today and trying to get some structure. Bear with us as we try to figure things out along the way on logistics and how to work different things in with each episode that we do. We are going to be doing a video of this, so if you do want to check that out, we'll be on our YouTube page. We'll put links up for that if you want to see the video. At some points, a podcast is strictly an audio medium, so there's some visual things that might pop up that we want to show you, so definitely check that out. But thank you for joining us. We did a little intro in our last in the intro podcast, but once again, Hoops Media started about 2015. Started just posting pictures and video blog type stuff on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and all that. It just grew to really enjoy sharing different mediums of basketball and the lifestyle and the culture that it creates. I've been a basketball fan my whole life. I really can't remember a time that I wasn't a fan of the game. Whether it was watching college or NBA, and then playing a little bit myself and coaching. So basketball has been a huge part of my life, and it still is. And I just wanted to jump into what that culture and what that lifestyle really of basketball has created for so many people. And as a fan, as somebody who enjoys different types of mediums that basketball has created with video and pictures and art and all that. So it's kind of a cool thing to start a podcast and not have any boundaries to what we are going to be doing and kind of just exploring. We're really looking forward to it. Looking ahead, I hope that we can have some fun here and do some cool stuff and do a fun show for you guys and not be mundane or uninteresting, but definitely figure some things out that are going to be great content for you guys. One of the things that I definitely want to keep consistently doing is kind of taking back the years to the 90s, kind of what inspired me to do all of this, and go through some highlights, whether it be highlighting obscure players or people that you love to watch, or hairstyles, or the way the guys wore their shorts in the 90s and all that. I want to really focus in on 90s basketball. It's one of my favorite things, but we certainly aren't going to stick strictly to that. We'll hit some relevant stuff, talk about things that are going on right now, and things before the 90s. So do hope you join. Hope you interact with us. Hope you get to share this with other folks and maybe get a conversation going. If there's something that we talk about that piques your interest, or if you want to hear about something, do reach out and definitely let us know. And we're looking forward to, in the future, having some other people on, not just me, interviewing different people in different areas, as far as basketball goes, people that are creating content with basketball, and maybe even players or coaches, something like that. But definitely want to interact with other people and not just be me talking. So definitely want to promote another podcast that we kind of have kicked off under our umbrella of Hoops Media, if you will. We're not really that big yet, but we do have one that kind of spawned off of this and became, kind of our baby, if you will, to grow and to see what happens. And that's the Champion Jerseys Only podcast. One of my favorite things is the old school NBA champion jerseys from the 90s. And one of the ways that I kind of keep things afloat with the Hoops Media and keep it from being an expensive hobby, there's definitely things that I like to purchase and get into. So to offset some of that, I jumped into buying and selling champion jerseys, not just champion, but a lot of NBA jerseys, and specifically champion jerseys. So we have a podcast about that. We're going to talk about different ones that we get, what we have for sale, and then of course, details about the champion jersey and the allure of it. They still hold their value. I think they're probably the most coveted jerseys of any sport, really, honestly, out there. And you still see somebody walking down the street with a champion Michael Jordan jersey, or even kind of an obscure one that catches your eye. They were the coolest colors, the logos during the 90s and all that. So definitely want to check that out. We'll be posting links to those podcasts. That's the champion jerseys only podcast, and then we're also kind of launching a Instagram page for that. And of course, we do. We are selling the jerseys that we have, so definitely want to let people know that if they want to purchase, and also if they're not looking to get marketed to or buy things, that's fine. We understand. One of the things that I've been doing since I started all of this is going through. One of the ways I've created content was looking up NBA players' birthdays. So as for instance, today, March 1st. It's Chris Webber's birthday. So in the past, especially during the slower months when there's not much going on, you say happy birthday, Chris Webber, and then you go grab a lot of content, pictures, and all that. So one thing I want to do on the podcast is also kind of look ahead, maybe a week or two, depending on how many times we're going to be doing this, but probably a week or two, and look at the birthdays ahead, kind of highlight those guys. They'll be present, past, guys that are playing now, and also guys from our past, but definitely want to kind of make that a regular on our show. So like I just said, today we got Chris Webber, March 1st. There's a lot of birthdays. I think this is going to probably be the most I do, and kind of the most fun list I do for a while. But the third is Jayson Tatum, current player with the Boston Celtics, of course, great player up there in Boston. March 4th, we got Draymond Green and Kevin Johnson. There's a throwback to the 90s from the Phoenix Suns, point guard. March the 5th, we got Brian Grant. If you remember him, had some great years with the Blazers and Heat. I believe he might have won a championship with the Heat, but had the awesome hair. And then also the 5th, this is a loaded list. Corey Brewer, go Gators! Shout out to Corey Brewer. Manuel Mudiay, Mason Plumlee, Scott Skiles, and then one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite players, and kind of a guy that we follow a lot and check out a lot and try to find pictures of and videos and all that, is Wally Zerbiak. March the 6th, coming up March 6th, is Greg Ostertag. We'll be talking about him a little bit later. Greg Ostertag played with the Jazz, big fella. Also the 6th guy playing right now, also with the Celtics, Marcus Smart. And then another fan favorite from the 90s and one of my favorite players to watch, a great player, Michael Finley. Also on the 6th is a guy you might have heard of, Shaq. So you can see this list is pretty intense. On the 8th, it's a guy that shares the TNT studio with Shaq, Kenny Smith. Also Sasa Bujacek, Buck Williams, an older name, guy from the 80s. And then the 9th. The 9th's got two great players that I love. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I always say it wrong. Abdul Rauf, and then Matt Barnes, one of our favorites, kind of like a guy we call friend of the blog around here. Matt Barnes. We do a lot of cool stuff with his pictures and all. And then March 10th, you're looking at Kwame Brown. What a legend. And then another guy that's blowing up right now, Zach LaVine. March 11th, we got Anthony Davis. And then another guy that I love following in his career in college and the NBA, Elton Brand. And then also on the 11th is a guy that might not be a household name, definitely not a household name, but somebody that might jog your memory, and that's what we like to do, is kind of bring a name back or talk about somebody you forgot about. Oh yeah, was Fred Jones. Don't know if you remember him. Fred Jones played for the Indiana Pacers. played college ball with the Oregon Ducks, and we're going to talk about him in just a minute after we get through this list here. So then March 12th, we got Isaiah Ryder, and Saturday, March 13th, we got quite a list again. Bobby Jackson, Caron Butler, Tristan Thompson, who I just found out is still playing with the Celtics. Did not realize that. And then a name that a lot of people know, but there's two of them. Clifford Trent Robinson. Not to be confused with Cliff Robinson. Rest in peace, Cliff Robinson, Uncle Cliffy. But Clifford Trent Robinson played, I believe, in the 80s. I can't remember exactly. I think the Nets, and he was a monster. I think he averaged like 17 points a game in his career. But a name that, not everybody knows, but I like to check those guys out. So if anybody there on there jumps out at you, check them out, look at them. Like I said, this has kind of been one of our major ways of creating content. I'll look ahead at the birthdays, grab a guy that I haven't thought about or looked at in a while, and then see if I can find some, legit pictures of him, maybe a video or two, something that's jumps out at you. So I enjoy doing that. That'll be one of the things that we do here as well. So going back to Fred Jones, he was actually the Oregon High School Player of the Year his junior and senior year in high school, and then he went on to play for the Ducks from I think 1998 to 2002. Played all 4 years, and if you remember his senior season, they made it to the Elite Eight, and they had Luke Ridnour and Luke Jackson. I believe that was 2002. I don't think he ever was, player of the year out there in their conference or anything like that. He wasn't super touted, but he actually ended up being drafted 14th overall in the first round in 2002 by the Pacers. And over the first couple years, didn't get a whole lot of playing time. Wasn't a very well-known name. I believe in 2004 or that season, 2004 or 5, I believe it was the Ron Artest, the Malice in the Palace, when Ron Artest was suspended. When he got suspended, I believe Fred Jones got in and played quite a bit and averaged like 10 points a game, and kind of started to become a name that you heard of a little bit. By no means was he an all-star or just a casual fan probably would have known him. But then in 2004, he got invited to the slam dunk competition, and he actually beat out Jason Richardson, who was going for I believe that would have been his third championship. And he beat Jason Richardson out. And if you recall, some of the dunks he did may not have ever won another dunk contest, but he did have a few that were pretty wild. We'll try to see if we can get some video of that. I remember throwing it up to himself and like cocking it back and being like almost vertical with the rim. So I think a lot of people, including myself, 2004, I was actually a senior in high school, and basketball was everything. I loved the dunk contest and the All-Star game, and I even remember being like, "Who's Fred Jones?" But he definitely put on a show. He won the dunk contest that year, so he's a dunk contest champion. He then went on to sign with the Raptors in 2006. Didn't play much. He was traded to the Blazers. With Zach Randolph and Dan Dickau. Well, I'm sorry, he was traded to the Blazers. Can't even read my own notes. And then turned around and traded with Zach Randolph and Dan Dickau from the Blazers to the Knicks for Channing Frye and Steve Francis, which is a kind of a random fact. And I believe Steve Francis, I don't think he never played with the Blazers. I think he was bought out and ended up on the Rockets to end his career, and I don't think he ever played there for the second time. And I believe this is another kind of fluky thing that we always like to take a look at. He ended up, I believe, either getting traded or signed by Memphis, who would actually, the Vancouver Grizzlies actually drafted Steve Francis, and he didn't want to play with them. So anyway, he technically ended his career with the Grizzlies. They were in Memphis at that point, but that's a random weird fact. So Fred Jones, he averaged about 10 points a game in 2004 and 5, and that was his, his high point there. But a name you might not remember. We'll try to throw some pictures up of him. Maybe we'll do a little spotlight on him on our pages this week. But just wanted to give you a little information, kind of show you how things work for us. Posting videos and clips of guys that are, maybe not the household names, but obviously we deal with the big names as well. One of the things I talked about in the kind of pre-show about what Hoops Me was going to be was my love for like top lists, top 10 lists, top 5 lists, whether it's players, whether it's moments, whether it's pictures and everything. So one of the things that I want to do, and I hope this goes over well, and I'll tweak it as much as possible. I think people will like it. Is kind of go through some top 5 lists almost every time we do this, and they're not going to just be players or top 5 favorite jerseys, which we're going to do, but I actually picked a topic that I want to kind of set in stone is one of the major reasons why I kind of gravitated to Hoops Media, and one of the things that keeps me very much interested, and one of the things that I did not realize until I started getting on Instagram and Twitter and Tumblr and all these social media sites, that there was a whole culture and a whole movement of basketball art. Artists using basketball in so many different ways, whether it's photography of courts or illustration, drawing, design, freehand paintings, just absolute just subculture, if you will, of artists that really focus on basketball. And when I started finding some of these accounts and different artists, I just got drawn in, and it was like probably the number one reason why I really enjoyed posting and sharing and just admiring all these different artists. If you check out my Instagram page and look who I follow, a lot of them are artists, illustrators, people that work for magazines, mostly in the basketball, spectrum. Some of them, I would say, more just sports in total, and they have cool NBA stuff as well. But there's a few that I really enjoy checking out, and I kind of made a top 5 list that I'm watching right now. So I want to do these kind of things on a weekly basis. Not always going to be the same as this, but kind of give you a heads up on that. So I'm going to go through the top 5, starting with 5. And, I love shouting these accounts out and pushing you guys, anybody listening, or anything I can do on my account to check them out. I'm going to use all the ones I'm going to use are all Instagram pages. So they obviously have probably other social media. I didn't go through all of them and to find all their different social media accounts, but I started out with, and I'm going to give you the account name on Instagram and then any information that I can on them, and then kind of give you an overview, and I'll try to put some either pictures up or show. I got an iPad in front of me here that I can show, and of course my Wi-Fi is super slow right now, so we're still loading. But most of these 5 that I'm going to describe, I've been following for quite a while. I mean, probably far back as I started, my Instagram page of 2005, 2015, 2016. So I've kind of, if you will, grown up with them and seen, all of their work. I love and enjoy checking all of their stuff out. First one. All right, here we go. So the first one is, the account's called Harsky, Harsky, looks like the name of the fella is Rob Hartskamp, and his bio says a designer, illustrator, pretty good free throw shooter, and he's got a link for his store. And I love seeing all the different people that I follow that also follow him. Just kind of scrolling through. He's got, photography here. He's got illustration, which I'll admit, I have a very small background in art. I dabble a little bit. If you might see some stuff every once in a while. I might see some stuff behind me that I do. By no means do I know the different ins and outs of different mediums and how things work, especially with the digital art. I did find the Adobe suite, I guess you would say, back in 2015, 16. Very rudimentary, kind of taught myself how to do things. I enjoy doing a little bit of art and doing some cool stuff, but by no means do I really know exactly the ins and outs of how things are done with the digital world. But anyway, he's got more of the digital type stuff. I just love his design. I'm gonna pull some up right here. I remember seeing this one, trying to get the background on all this. What I love too is most of the accounts that I follow, you kind of see a circle. So I look at who else is liking this, and it's my other favorites in different areas. This one's called it's Basketball Movie Database VHS print, and I know this is probably not going to show up too much on the camera, and obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to know. But please, if you're listening to the podcast right now, go to Harsky on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, and there is, if you want to follow along, there's on his main page about 3 or 4 scrolls down, there's a yellow background with all these different VHS from back in the day, and I'm not sure exactly what he used to do those, but I love seeing those. I believe they're all legit, real videos. They're just digitized in a picture. There's one right above it. It's a Kobe jersey, very simple, very very easy, but I just love his style and the way he kind of illustrates things. There's some cool shots that are, you would think are more like photographs that turn, that are actually digital design. And I think he really focuses a lot on basketball. He puts some good stuff up as well. It's like, kind of the stuff that I put, pictures and all that. And he's got a few collaborations with guys that I really like and follow too. So check him out for sure. He's very talented, and I don't know much about him. One of the things that I want to do in the future is reach out to these people and maybe have them come on the podcast. It's my dream. I haven't been able to get the logistics of all that done yet, but I really enjoy looking at these 5 that I'm giving to you. That's number 5. And these aren't really in any order. Number 4 is one that I found recently that I've been checking out. Like I said, a lot of the guys that I follow on my page were following this guy and liking it. It's the account's buckets.book. Buckets.book. And in their bio there it says hunting for hoops. Book is now available. Order today. So apparently they have a book. And this is more photography of basketball hoops and really cool, just obscure looking ones, ones you don't know where they're coming from. I'll show you I'm not gonna be able to show these, but I'll try to get a scroll on the video itself. But I believe they have a magazine with all these different pictures of different backboards. I mean, there's ones that you'd find in your backyard when you're a kid in 1998, and then there's real rustic looking ones, just very intriguing setups with backboards and basketball hoops or rims. I'm sorry, and really like what they do. I just enjoy that. It's very simple, very easy, but the eye for those different basketball hoops and the places that they're at is definitely really good. So that's buckets.book. Definitely check that one out. And then my number 3 is a guy that's only one out of this group that is like a verified account, and probably the only one that has like the most followers. What I would say to be like a kind of a more mainstream artist, maybe a name that a lot of people have heard. But this is Tyrell Winston, and that's his name is Tyrell Winston. In his bio, he just has his link to his website. Tyrell is one of the most creative people I've ever seen. One of the things that you'll see first of all is he takes old flat and worn out basketballs and creates art with them. The first time I saw his page, I was just like mesmerized, and he does all kind of different art, but he really focuses on basketball. I just can't describe to you what his page looks like. You'd have to go and look at it. It's so cool, and he's pretty good at what he does. I believe he's doing this full time, so I think he's making money off of it and doing a big deal with this. So I think he does like some sculpting, like epoxy stuff. He does some stuff where he like puts basketball rims together to make different things, and just super creative. Really enjoy his page. Really like looking at whatever he posts all the time, and you should check him out for sure. That's Tyrell Winston. Been following him for quite a while now too. And then number 2 on my list is Amazing Blaze Zine. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Amazing Blaze Zine. And his bio is Blaze, paying tribute to the heroes and ghosts of sports history. And he does not focus just on basketball. He's actually got a lot of different things. I mean, first swipe down his page is a lot of basketball, but he does football, baseball, does these cool like posts about obscure players in baseball. I'm a baseball fan too. Every sport, but just these really cool looking. I guess you would say collages. I'm not exactly sure how he does what he does. Like, once again, I'm kind of ignorant to all the different ways of doing art, if you will. But I almost feel like he cuts things out, puts them, and makes these physically. Now I'm guessing he's doing this all digitally, but I would guess he's probably doing it physically too. I just absolutely love his style and what he does, and it's one of my favorite things. Probably one of my top ones. Like, this one's gonna be on this list every time, and really enjoy it. He does. I think he kind of does the birthday thing too. Whenever it's somebody's birthday, kind of follows that mold where whoever's birthday is, we'll put a picture up of them, post. But I mean, just fascinating work. So definitely check him out. Amazing Blaze Zine. And then my number 1, and this one's easy to say, is my number 1. It's been one I've been following for since I can remember. I don't know how long. It'd be interesting to find out how long this person's account's been around, because I've been following them for as long as I can remember if I've had Hoop Media. But this one is Ostertag Made Me Do It. And we talked about Greg Ostertag. I think his birthday was actually coming up this week. Kind of big, oafy white guy that played for the Jazz back in the day. This account and what he does, he or she does, is just amazing. And you have to check this one out. This one's so cool. And this was, for the most part, almost strictly basketball. Basically taking images of players and different people, and then this Ostertag Made Me Do It has their own distinct way of, like, I don't even know what the word of, bedazzling the picture in the background with these very just like so cool lines, and like black lines with colors and different colors, and it's just like I don't even know how to describe it. Just like a design behind a really cool picture already, and he does it with so many different people. I see everybody from like old schoolers, Clifford Robinson, of course Ostertag maybe do it. Ostertag, Greg Ostertag, but different guys that are like obscure, and then of course Jordan. I can't tell you. You have to check this one out because it's my favorite. I've actually bought a few of his or hers work. When I first found it, I think I bought. I can't remember what it was, but it was so cool. We sent a sticker pack, and then a couple of old basketball cards that he had done his little artwork to, and it was so cool. And I've always been supportive of them. Love posting. If you follow my account, I try to put any of his stuff up on my story and all that. But anything that he likes, I like. We're like lockstep. He's just got great, just a great eye for what he does. Definitely check him out, him or her, and look at him. I believe he had done a collaboration where he's been doing a lot of collaborations with different artists and stuff, and theirs are really cool. But there's I believe he did a collaboration with a shorts clothing company and got his art on some shorts. I actually bought some of them too. So that's definitely my number one. I think I would say when I found Ostertag made me do it, that was when I just was like mesmerized, and that really helped draw me in. And from that point on, I've been really following the art community in basketball, and just that whole culture, and what people have created is just amazing. And I don't really see it with the other sports as much. Maybe it's there, but I don't see it with NFL and baseball and MLB and stuff. But I'm not saying it is there, but I just am really intrigued by what people are doing, as far as the NBA culture is concerned, and not just the typical kind of hip hop culture and rap and shoes and everything that kind of a lot of people kind of associate with basketball, but this crazy talented artwork that's coming out. So that's my top 5 list. Hopefully that went well. I want to tweak this. I'm going to be listening to this podcast a few times. By no means am I good at this yet, so I'm going to be tweaking my game and reviewing the tape here to see what we can do better. But like I said, we're going to try to do something like this once a week, maybe just once a month. We'll see what happens, but like to plan something in the future where we have some guests on, talk to people, and see where it goes. So this is kind of our first shot, Volume 1. One of the other things that I wanted to do is kind of show off. I love collecting, like I said, jerseys and basketball nostalgia and different things. I try to keep afloat by flipping some of them. That way I got some money that I can kind of play around with and buy some of this art and different things that come out. But one of the things I like to do, what I want to try to get started, is like the jersey of the day. I love wearing the old NBA jerseys. I like new ones too, but definitely the old ones. This one's not that old, but today I'm rocking the wine and gold Cleveland Cavs. It's a Nike jersey. Might have thought it was LeBron, but it's actually number 21. I'll turn around here. This camera can see me, but obviously gotta duck down. If you can see that, Darius Miles, one of my favorite jerseys. This one is for sale, but I usually don't wear them out. I wear them just around the house and stuff. Darius Miles from, I think, about 2003, I would probably put it at. And he was there for a little while. I believe he got there right before or the same year that LeBron was a rookie. And I think the Cavs went to these jerseys in 2003 when LeBron was a rookie. Everything's going to change. Going to be a big show. And I think these jerseys are one of the coolest ones. I've always liked the Cavs jerseys, the old school champion, black ones and white jerseys with the blue and the lettering that they have are one of my favorites. And their logo that they had back in the day. I got a few pennants of the old school Cavs. I'm actually going to grab one of those. Bear with me.
and then threw it away. Fred Jones trying to go coast to coast. Whoa! There's the slam dunk champion.
Look at the
like a rocket being launched. And that was into Ben Wallace's face.
That you won't see very often. The best of it.
This one wasn't left to chance.
So this is another one of the things that I try to sell to kind of keep afloat. This is one of my favorite logos, I think, of any of the NBA teams. The 90s Cavaliers and that lettering that they did with the blue and the black and just a simple logo. I'm a sucker for that any of those champion jerseys. But I love when they changed to the wine and gold, kind of switched it up, the new era with LeBron, and then of course, all the years that he was there. So anyway, this is Darius Miles, obviously coming from the Clippers, switched up to the Cavs. I don't remember exactly how long he was there, but it was definitely not the highs of his career. More remember the Clipper years, but love Darius Miles. He's one of my favorites. He's like one of the guys I can kind of consider a friend of the blog, if you will. Anytime I see a picture of him or a video or something, I got to stop on it, like it, or try to find something to put up. So Darius Miles, shout out to Darius Miles. I think he's still hooping every once in a while. I believe there was a video of him not too long ago. But anyway, kind of give you a roundup of what we did today and what's going to look like going forward. Kind of check out what the birthdays are ahead every week and highlight some of those guys, and then do a top 10, top 5 list, and hopefully in the near future have some interviews and talk to some people that are out there. So thanks for joining. I hope you give us a shot, even if this was rickety and bounced around a little bit. I hope you give it a shot. And if you have any ideas or comments or anything like that, we're definitely going to kind of try to interact with our audience if people listen to it. Like I said, I want to put the video up on YouTube, and we'll try to do some clips on there, so it's not strictly just me talking. But I do appreciate you checking in. If you follow Hoops Media, keep following us. We haven't been posting as much lately, but we're definitely we're looking for different ways to do content and everything like that. So definitely keep following us. We got some cool things in the works in the future, and definitely want to. One of the coolest things is put on others that have awesome content. It's easy to kind of get stuck looking at the same stuff and not kind of branch out and see things. So that's one of the main things I want to do is promote other people and what they're putting up, and not just art, everything within pretty much basketball and culture, and what the cool things that everybody's doing right now creatively. So thanks for joining in. I think that's all I needed to say. Follow us on Instagram if you don't already. It's at Hoops Media. I'm sorry, at Hoops_media. And like I said, check out that Champion Jerseys Only podcast. We actually have an Instagram account for the podcast as well, Champion Jerseys Only. And like I said, we're kind of pushing to sell those jerseys. So if you're not interested in buying, or if you don't want to be asked to buy something, then that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not, but we definitely kind of want to highlight awesome, amazing jerseys too. So if you have one, or if you have a question about something, check that podcast out. But also, I kind of run that one too. So definitely want to keep that door open for everybody as well. Hoops Media kind of has the bigger platform at this point, but we're going to be using it to promote the champion jerseys as well. I think that's pretty much it. This is volume 1, right about 40 minutes. So I was thinking maybe I was either going to be too short-winded or too long, but I guess it's probably what I exactly was looking to get. So thanks for checking us out. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying basketball. I think the All-Star break's about to come up, one of my favorite times. I hope it goes off smoothly, and maybe we'll check back right before the All-Star break or right after. So, all right, have a good one.